Great. Welcome back to the channel. All right, it's time for the update to the best champions for Battlegrounds. We'll be covering all of the new champions. There's 4 of them this month, depending on how you consider new. We'll go into every single one of them. As far as the big meta shifts and things like that, because you're gonna see a lot of champions go down by 1 single point. It's small. It's incremental. Stop by a live stream. I've been streaming on Wednesdays and Fridays around 10:30, 11 o'clock Pacific Standard Time AM. Essentially, there's just so many defenders, and Kabam keeps putting them out, meaning we're really wanting those champions that can soft counter a variety of them for us in our Battlegrounds deck, because we only got 30 spots. It's a bit of a strategy. You either like it or you don't. I'm not sure where I land on that right now, but it's at least what's happening, and that is what we're going to be reflecting for you this month. And remember, this is for default, as you're looking to make yourself a deck to carry around, and then you update it every single meta with maybe 1 or 2 rank ups, or you've already got the champions ranked up, even better. So here we go. We're going to start off talking about Yelena. Now, I did do the new champion video, and we will move the microphone from Bullseye to Yelena. It's definitely supposed to be about Yelena, but I focused in that video about offensive use. The Battlegrounds tier list, so we're going to talk about her as a defender, which is where we have her. You can see there is some offensive use, and I showed that in the video. I do think she's going to have some. I actually kind of want her to, and I will want her awakened. There's a couple of really big problems with her, what are going to be problematic, and I will be doing a how to defeat Yelena video that should be coming out next Tuesday, depending on when you watch this. One of them is going to be that reversal mechanic, right? There's really just no one's reversal immune. It's just its own defensive type thing that we need to be aware of, and it's really bad. And in Battlegrounds, when your health matters, it's going to be a real problem, something that people have to play around. That's why you're seeing people, and even in really high tiers, running a 6-star Ascended right now, which is almost unheard of. The other thing she can do is she can cap your opponent's attack rating, or the opponent's attack rating. Can help her stall things out, helps her get to her elimination mode. She's got multiple modes there, and she's going to get to that, and then she's going to do the reversal. You really want to learn that SP1 evade, and like I said, we're going to get on that too. And she's got this whole combo thing too. And then Daunted. Champions with Daunted are going to be extremely helpful for her. So there's going to be your onslaughts. I am seeing Sinisters have some decent success with her. You're obviously going to really need to parry and get that fight down. We see Gentle, and then this is part of why I'm so excited about Jean Grey. And then we'll talk briefly about another champion here with some Daunted, who I think might be really good for her. We'll test that out though. And then she's going to keep her combo. She's going to be a difficult defender. I think we're putting her at her 9. She does not seem like a 10 for me right now, but she might end up there. We'll see the impact she's going to make on decks, but we felt very, very comfortable starting off as a 9. This is a potent defender who has some stall threat capabilities, and then also has chip damage, big damage capabilities too. If you're not getting that fight down and you don't have what I said earlier, kind of those soft counters, that hard counter. There's very few hard counters to the tough defenders nowadays. The other new champion that we'll talk about right now is Dark Phoenix. Again, she's someone we're gonna have to face. She's got the SP1 Unstoppable, so you're gonna really want to be aware of that. That's why even in the challenge to get our buff Phoenix, you saw me and others pushing her to her SP2, unless we had a slow or some way to handle that Unstoppable. She has Immortality. Hello, there you go. Hercules, Serpent, and now Dark Phoenix. Apparently that's just what happens with Cosmic Champions these days. She has the chip damage from the Nova Flame, right? She's going to get these Nova Flames up. You really want to be punishing her specials. I'm going to get out the how to fight her video on her too, but she's got to get in line behind Yelena, channel member the Highline, who originally requested this. So he's been such a long time loyal supporter, and I'm excited to do that. And I want to learn how to fight Yelena myself as well. Then also she does, I think, going to have some potential use in Battlegrounds offensively. Mainly for champions who have armor ups that are difficult to get off. She just has the Pulverize off of her heavy, and then of course she's got the Nova Flame she can do to them. We've seen her do great stuff in long form, but again, this is about Battlegrounds. She's primarily going to be a defender. I'm not ready to put her in the dual threats there, because I think her offensive use, similar to Yelena, it's going to be more a unique scenario that happens, it comes up, and so that's why we've got the emoji saying, hey, there's a little bit of that. I do know this because having fought her, and I did the stream, showed you a variety of examples to fight her. Atrophy and Fate Seal are going to be your friends. So that's one thing that's nice, is we do have some, again, pretty soft counters there already in Shothra and in the Hood, which are fortunately already in deck. So we've got a little bit of a nice little favor there from Kabam. And those are the defenders that we're going to be talking about today. All right, now we're going to move on to the bottom 2 tiers of the attackers here. Now remember, even your 6s, especially now that I told you a lot of champions have moved down a single point, your sixes can still be incredibly valuable. Remember, there are metas that come out, like all of a sudden your shock champions and your bleed champions really get a big boost. We're seeing Black Widow Deadly Origin in like MP's top 30 tournaments. It's been really cool to watch and to see. And so that's why you want, if you're really interested in Battlegrounds and progressing, not only do you want to rank up some of these champions, some you consider like, okay, maybe don't take them to rank 3 just yet, maybe take them to rank 2, that sort of thing. Get your deck really nicely filled out. This is a big game. And so Kabam can really just up the value of a particular champion via the meta they put out. But we've got 2 champions we're going to talk about today. We're going to briefly touch on Isophyne. We actually talked about moving her to a 7 because of Dark Phoenix, right? Isophyne can handle her really well. She can shut off that immortality. But the rest of the guys were like, look, I don't think that's really worthy to put her for a 7. You know, she's a little bit weaker for a lot of the other champions. That is taking up a deck spot, but that's a perfect example of a 6, where if you've got a highly ranked Isophyne, you really love her, might make sense to put her in your deck, and then you can construct your bands in your deck around that. Maybe you're not so worried about Serpent and Dark Phoenix anymore, and then you can kind of strategize around it. Perfect example of a 6 champion. So I really appreciate the Illuminati kind of talking that through for us. The next one we're going to talk about is Buffed Phoenix. I did the champion video on her. A big fan of her. Her role in Battlegrounds, as I see it right now, okay, is going to be to really help you up against Zola. I just did the video on how to fight Zola. Tough defender, but I do think he's fair. Not a lot of like hard counters. In fact, Phoenix is probably the hardest counter we have in the game. The issue is you needed to be able to stun, okay? She's going to obviously suffer if the defenders are immune to Incinerate. That's the source of her damage. But there's a couple things that I love about her, and I think she might find her way up to an 8. Remember, we start off very conservative around her and around here. And I showed it in the video really well, is you get yourself kind of ramped up, and she ramps up even better against non-contact attacks, right? If you well-time block them, you get more of her Phoenix charge, I believe they're called, and you can get going very quickly. And then you get to a point in the fight, and it can happen pretty fast against her ideal counters, and it can happen pretty fast against Zola, where you then just hold your heavy and you just melt the defender. Now, I got a couple comments on that in the video, and I appreciate the back and forth with them, was they're like, hey, you don't really need to do that after you throw in your special 2 or whatever. And you're like, you're technically correct. However, what I have found is when you can do damage to a defender without actually hitting them, you want to do it, because it is a massive advantage in that you are not giving them power in which to throw a special that you need to bait, or worse yet, they hold on to a special and you're just sitting there playing ball with them, right? And you're getting really, really frustrated, because as Battlegrounds scoring goes, the longer the fight takes, the worse your score is going to be. So I think some people, I'm actually considering taking mine to rank 3 very, very soon. This current meta with the stun, I'm not sure how that would work out, but I think she's going to be really valuable there. And I wanted to see it depend on how many defenders with non-contact attacks you want to be able to handle. And I think she has a really potential strong role in that, and you don't even need her awakened, which is even better. As I was scrolling up, I realized I completely forgot to talk about Cyclops. Poor Cyclops, man. People always forgetting about him. I claim he's boring. That guy is not, he is definitely not boring. Love doing the video on his buff. Phenomenal buff, so fun to play. He's got the stoicism, right? We covered that, and we're going to talk about Battlegrounds usage here. The stoicism, it is enticing the defender to act more aggressively. I love these forms of AI manipulation. I feel like when they live on the defender, I don't trust them as much. Like Titania and her Intimidate. I love Titania, but I don't trust it nearly as much as I enjoy like future Ant-Man's Surging Swarm, Cyclops, and his Stoicism. I don't know why, but for me, when they live on the attacker, I don't know if I just play better or what, but it feels like they work significantly better. I think it's going to help you get intercepts, and you can intercept with your special. It's a lot of fun, but I also think it's powerful. And then you think about, there's often nodes or metas where they ask us to intercept. There you go, right? Not only is that helping you with the fight itself generically, but then it could be increased in its value, in its ask by the nodes and things like that. He's got the true focus from Miss and Evade. Hell yeah, I love that, right? Power efficiency. Now, you know, if he came out like 6 months ago, I'd be more initially excited about him. We have him as a 7, so you know that's a really good score. I could see him going to an 8. There's even a world where I think 9, but I don't think that's, I would caution against that thinking right now, and we'll talk about that in a second. But that power efficiency allows him to do a tremendous amount of damage in a very small period of time. I think for him, what's going to happen is, one, how many defenders do we get? And again, your deck construction, because you can only have so many champions that can be nukes. You need these champions that can handle these safeguards and the protection mechanisms and the Deathless Thanos and the Serpent with all these resistances and things like that that are very much slowing you down. You can't just silk them, right? And as a result, you can't just Cyclops these champions. As a result, for them to be in your deck, they need to be able to handle a variety of defenders. If we start to see that out of Cyclops, he will definitely go to an 8. And like I said, I think his ceiling is a 9, which is phenomenal. Even a 7 is very, very good. And then the champion that I wanted to briefly talk about in the tier above all for attackers moved their way up to a 9. And we'll talk about Okoye tier 2 because I'm seeing that I was going to talk about with him. The Hood, we called out Fate Seal earlier, right? As far as being really great for Dark Phoenix. Hood is very good for a variety of the cosmic big bad defenders in general. Got the stagger, right? And then the Fate Seal at SB2. I just did a Hood video showing this to you. But then also in the Zola video, I showed you that one of the really nice ways that's kind of like counterintuitive to attack Zola, to attack his kit, is champions can create their own openings. The Hood is fantastic with that, with his miss mechanic. And I did talk to, again, the Illuminati, and I think it was even MP on his stream where it was like, yep, the Hood can be phenomenal for Zola. So we know that. I think that alone warrants getting Hood up to a 9 there with Kushala and Shathra. And then we'll briefly talk about Okoye. Because I know some of you are like, dude, how is she not a 10? It's because, honestly, I want a single month to go by where she's not bugged. Like, I want at least 30 days to go by where she's not bugged, where it's like it's not the vicious or the whatever. I understand Kabam's doing their best. I'm not going to go on an anti-Kabam rant right now, but I will say that, like, it's hard to have full confidence in what the end product or end result for Okoye is going to be, because something with her keeps getting changed. And I don't care if it's like a fix or the way it's always supposed to be, or we, the players, are too dumb apparently and we should have always known. I don't really care what the reasoning is. I just want to see her fixed. And if we're like, hey, you know what? The damage is meant, it's incredible. Kind of like what I talked about, where your pure attackers need to be able to cover a large swath of the game for you to get to a 9 or a 10. She's already at 9. And if we're like, no, you know what? Because of her combo count, she's even good for Dark Phoenix. We might move her up to a 10. I just want to see her be stable, let's call it, for at least 30 days. And if she is, you know, we'll take the thing off and she's definitely a 9 or potentially even a 10. In an effort to make these videos a little bit shorter, I just completely skipped over Deadpool X-Force. Did not mean to. The one thing I'm going to call about him is he continues to show his value in that he doesn't need to have the utility that we often looked for in Mutant Champions as far as like handling that physical damage back, right? The game is evolving. He continues to be good, yeah, like Enchantresses, things like that. But this is the one where I want to point out is Yelena Belova, Daunted, Deadpool X-Force has it. We'll see how good he's going to be for it. Like I said, I'm going to put out the video for how to defeat Yelena. But even if he's not that good for her, I think right now, anyways, he's deserving of that 9. And then we move on to the dual threats. And remember, in your deck, it's so much of it's about your deck construction in your draft. You then need to have the physical skills to pull it off, right? Like this meta, I am struggling bad to physically pull it off. I keep pairing. It is what it is. That's part of the game. But the way you construct your deck goes a long way towards your success. And then your ban strategies, your ban and your draft strategies. So your attackers, your dual threats, and your defenders are incredibly important. I started off this way and I continue to feel, though, I need my dual threats. I need them. I want them. I want them to show up early because they provide so much flexibility. We're going to quickly talk about 2 champions. One is Nick Fury. I've taken mine to rank 4. I think I've got him at SIG 150 right now. I just did the count tour video on him. He's been amazing. He's been amazing. I can see why Kabam felt comfortable releasing him, is people are able to take him down. People are getting 47, 48,000 scores. Juggernauts. I think I did a Juggernaut versus Nick Fury short recently too. There's Penny Parkers. There's high sig Deadpools. Right, there are definitely options for him. So I get it. That being said, I've also turned around and used him offensively. He's been absolutely perfect for me as far as a dual threat champion is considered. And then the other one we're going to quickly talk about is Guardian. And it was William in particular that actually shouted this out. Is he's like, hey, Vega, I see why you still have Guardian as a defender, like, or as in the dual threats. But I don't know if his defensive prowess is still as strong as it once was. I think it was like Jaeger and a couple other people. A lot of the Illuminati like chimed in. They're like, yeah, you know, with all the cosmic champions. But everyone agreed, like, hey, with a champion like Zola coming out, because remember, Guardian can parry non-contact attacks. It's not unusual for there to be a meta, or you're just stuck, where Guardian's good for like Bullseye. This is the sort of flexibility we want to see out of our attackers. And honestly, sometimes, you know, like even crossbones can't reduce the chance of the auto block for Guardian defensively. I don't know why or how, I don't understand the math, but I know it's true. The Guardian will still like almost always have at least some chance to do it. It's happened to me, and beautifully played fights get ruined. And so I do think we're going to leave that there as a dual threat. If you feel strongly the Guardian should be moved to like an attacker only, let me know. I do think Guardian's value as an attacker with the Hulkbuster relic, though, is potentially at an all-time high. And so even if he moved to the attacker, he would stay very, very highly rated. Wanted to call that out as we continue to work on our next rank 4s and things like that. All right, that is the full list. We'll move through it a little bit more quickly. Hopefully you enjoyed the format. Still got the information out on the new champions. As usual, let me know what you think we got wrong. Let me know what we think we got right. I always love that too. Thank you so much for watching. Take care.